for those of you who don't know, we have like a series of flows that we started in December that recap everything that we've been doing since like September. And on Monday, whoever can like remember, the pair of people who can remember all those flows the most and do them correctly, pay you $200. So there were 10 flows. However, I lost some time in the holidays, obviously. So I've scaled it back to 7. I updated that in school if you log in there tonight. And we're going to cap off at 7, where 7 would have been the turtle breakdown to taking the back with power half. And then they escape the back instead. We're going to go straight jacket with the rear naked choke. Okay. So we're going to go through that. So we're going to go through that flow for the first half of class. And then the next half of class is just a rundown of all 7. And then just drilling. All right. Any questions on that?
So we're about to do 7 now.
Number 7.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we'll do 1 through 6, which kind of like whatever y'all want to do. I can recap 1 through 6, whichever one y'all want to recap. And then open mat's obviously always yours to do whatever you want. So if you want to keep doing those, go for it. Yeah, let's get started. So we're starting from the turtle. Okay, so I believe flow 6 was the arm triangle. They come up and escape out of the arm triangle into turtle. What we're looking for now is our turtle breakdown. So the first thing I want to do is, again, this is recap. So feel free to also watch the more detailed versions of these classes that were all recorded. But anytime I want to break down turtle here, I want to pull. I can pull at the trap and I can pull at the hip, and I want to pull him on a line at an angle towards his near side hip. I don't want to pull him out here. I can pull him out here to the side, but he's going to have a much greater ability to base out. Okay. There are variations where I can come in here and I can kind of wedge my knee in there into his calf as I pull, which is break him down sideways if I want to. But you're going to have a greater degree of success if, let's say, I'm heavy on him, and then when I'm ready to actually break him down, I'm kind of getting like a meat hook into his trap, grabbing the hip socket. And then as I pull, I'm going to remove my body enough to make a pocket for him to actually fall into. Okay. And that's what we're looking for right there, is just a breakdown. Now, there were several things we covered over several classes of different reactions he might give us here. The one we're going to go with for flow 7 is as he goes to build back up, what I'm going to look to do is insert this deep tight waist and not stay heavy on my chest, but rather, let's go to 90 degrees, rather sink my hips into him so that he has to pull me up with him. As he goes to pull, I'm looking to insert my bottom hook, and I'm looking to get my foot to the outside of the leg. Okay. I tend to actually personally struggle a little bit to get my foot here. So your mileage may vary here. All right. I'm still actually debugging exactly why, to be honest with you. I feel a little off balance. It might be a me problem. You play with this and if you don't feel balanced, then go somewhere else. Okay, it's fine. But what I'm looking to do, since we're going to be using the power half to break him down, I want to make sure I anchor myself to him. If I just have my foot down here and it's not weak on the outside of his leg, and I start breaking him down, he can load me a lot more effectively, and we can have a little more of a scramble here. However, if I manage to insert that bottom hook and I've got my foot, rotate, just rotate my knee. I've got my foot on the outside of the leg. Now I can like stomp on my own foot. As we rotate underneath with that power half, I can use that to flare and control him. I can extend my foot to control and can have a lot more control and less of a scrambling here in this position. Right? Okay. So again, right here. I'm turtle breakdown. I'm gonna get a deep tight waist, and I'm pulling my elbow towards my pocket as I sink my hips into him as he's building back up. I'm looking to insert that hook, get it to the outside of his leg, and I'm looking to stomp on my own foot with my other foot. Now for the power half, I want to make sure I don't want to be like over here where my head is even with his center line. It's going to be a lot easier for him to dump me off. So I'm actually shifting my head in this transition to make sure I maintain some of my base this way so that Worst case, he's trying to take me this way, but I'm going to be able. Go ahead and follow you. I can still find this in the transition. Okay, but let's say we actually get to our perfect setup. Okay, when I actually want to, where I can actually go through the whole power half, I'm going to put my watch on the back of his neck, come up under, grab my gable grip, and now I'm looking to tuck my my left elbow down, and my right elbow comes towards the ceiling. My whole goal is to take his chin to his chest. Okay, so I'm going to take his chin to his chest. As soon as I'm here on my side, I'm extending that bottom hook. Okay, now I'm going to look to insert my heel into his hip. If he's blocking me with his leg, okay, if I'm having trouble, I can use this hook I have, as well as this control of the power half, to open him up even more, and use my heel. Okay, yeah, sorry. Use my heel. I just need to get my heel in and point my toes out, put my heel in, and start carving down. As soon as I beat the hip line with my heel, now it's okay for me to start taking him this way and securing my seatbelt and my top side triangle. Okay. Let's just go right here. Just start in the back. Okay. All right, so now you're gonna land after your power half. You're gonna land here on the underhook side. What I'm gonna look to do first is it's a variation of the straight jacket. This is something I'm still exploring, but this is the variation you can go with for this particular flow. So he's got his strong 2-on-1. Okay. What I'm looking to do, we covered this grip break, I guess, in November. You might remember. I'm going to take my knuckles and my fingers and point them up and kind of roll my wrist back. And this bottom hand can now pommel underneath and grab a C clamp or S grip on those fingers. And now I can roll my wrist down, and this both wrists, this wrist down like I'm starting a bike, and this wrist up. Right, I can use this this leverage I have with this grip. Yeah, get a good grip. So he has a strong grip. I can use this to pry that grip apart. Okay, you see this without any fingers. It's this. Okay, right. You can use this to pry that grip off. And look, as I pry, I'm immediately starting to find his knuckles and take his palm down towards his chest, as this hand immediately starts shooting up to threaten the choke. Okay, now he's going to go to defend this. You might beat him, right? You might just beat him back up here, and now we've got the like Marcelo style one arm rear naked choke, right? Or, yeah, more likely he defends. Next thing I can do is, he's so insistent on pulling me that way, I can start selling this, but then I can go with the momentum. He wants to take me that way, I'll let him. He pulls that hand down. I'm going to replace back to the other hand, okay? And then I can start looking for the straight jacket, or I can immediately start hunting. If he's already taken his palm like almost to his belly button, I can start inserting my foot here. All right, so you're gonna have to read them. So we might end up in this situation, or we might get all the way and be able to go straight there. Okay, let's say most likely we're gonna end up here. Now I can start coming up under, and I can start looking to just extend this away from me, because all I'm looking to do is open up this elbow and point his palm, or get his palm as close to his belly button as possible. Okay, so I can start rolling this wrist, and this is where I can start finding that. And now I can carve down with my heel, and now I've got two hands against his one. I'm able to, now no matter what he does, I'm always able to win this battle. Okay, he can react however he chooses. I'm always able to pass this off to my near side arm and then back up for the choke. Okay, and we're going to finish this one with one arm. Okay, you can take them to the other side. We're just going to do this flow with one arm. So I'm going to reach back almost like I'm hugging the back of his neck. I'm not going to be out here. Okay, I want to make sure I'm covering this artery. So I'm coming all the way back, and I'm rolling my hand down, my palm into his trap, and I'm putting my chin on his hand, on my own hand, getting ear to ear with him. And now it's a simple rotation of this elbow as I track him, as I stay ear to ear with him. Okay. we're gonna go through that one more time. A lot there. All right, turtle. We're gonna go for the breakdown. I'm shooting at a deep tight waist as he starts building height. Looking to insert my bottom hook. Looking to get my foot to my own my own foot. My wrist.
Watch.
My watch. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, my wristwatch. My I'm having a freaking stroke right now. So man, get my where my watch would be to the back of his neck. Sit here, grab a cable grip. I'm looking to take his chin to his chest. So I'm gonna break it down, extend that bottom hook, looking to get my heel in. As soon as my heel is in the hip line, I can start taking him to the other side and locking my seatbelt and my top side triangle. Okay. Next. Okay. We'll like to break this grip here. Here. All right, now he's going to fight this choke. I'm going to look to, like, how did I end up on the?
Because we rotated.
Oh,
We got flipped.
so I'm like, man, I don't know what to say. All right, so he's got a 2-on-1. I'm going to point my fingers up. I can pommel this hand underneath, grab my own fingers, break the grip. He's going to defend. I'm selling this choke. He goes to defend hard. I'll go with it. Grab his other hand again, feed that. Now this hand is free to start coming underneath and starting to peel this wrist off. You can also go on top and grab, like try to collapse at the knuckles here, either with a thumb pry or depending on the orientation of his palm, a pinky pry. I can start prying this off, or you can come under and start shucking. Okay, I'm just trying to get his hand near his belly button. Next, I can use my heel to come up and insert and carve down. As soon as that's done, now it's a 2-on-1. I can feed this near sidearm back to this hand, lock my choke, put my chin on my own hand, get ear to ear, and then it's a rotation of the elbow. Yeah, let's just break it down more because I'm going into this saying like it's review, but like for at least half of you probably haven't seen this yet because you weren't here like 6 weeks ago, right? So like, yeah, let's start with just the turtle breakdown and then the power half.
So as far as the final choke goes, the rotating of, you're saying the elbow, was it? How is that? I'm not.
So like, so typical rear naked choke is if I go for both, right? It's I'm drawing my top side elbow away as I also get ear to ear and rotate my head with him, right? It's the same mechanics going on. I'm just using I'm just like securing this with my chin, and I'm using his trap as like an anchoring point instead of my own shoulder that I normally have.
So it's that kind of rotation.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm rotating my elbow this way.
Okay.
Right. Like old school jitsu is like grab my bicep in the back of his head and do this kind of thing. But kind of modern jiu-jitsu is really just more of a cutting motion than it is a squeeze. You can squeeze, but it's this elbow right here in front of me, the bottom one is like stationary, and I'm driving my top side elbow away as if I'm like cutting his head off. Okay, that makes sense. So the reason this works is I get a lot more artery coverage with my secondary arm. Since I'm doing this one arm, we emphasize going from here, like we would in a typical choke, back all the way behind the trap so that we get more artery coverage here. Make sense? Let's do the turtle breakdown to the power half, and then we'll circle back up for the actual grip fight sequence again, okay? Any other questions? All right, and let's see. Chad or Camden, please go with Kyle. Kyle, right? Yeah. Don't mind. Thank you. All right, 1, 2, 3. That's even more. So instead of that one, if y'all were here in November, you saw this too. Okay, this is the even simpler version of taking the back from turtle. So same breakdown where I was here, I get into the hip, but here, the reaction we're looking for on the bottom is not necessarily an immediate spring back up, right? Let's just say I was able to, I really brought him down, right? And I've got enough time to collect this near side arm and start inserting this hook through this foot. If I can get my foot all, like my shin all the way across and my foot to the far hip, now I can lock my seatbelt and we can simply chair sit. All right, so I'm gonna windshield wipe. What's the camera tape off there? So I'm here. I'm gonna windshield wipe this foot into his butt, and I'm gonna sit at the table, walk to my hip, and lock my triangle. All right, that's gonna be way simpler. So we can make sure that we get enough reps of the actual flow in, versus still trying to clean up this this like bottom hook leg weave power half. I think it's awesome. Power half is awesome, but even I need to work on it. So I'm not gonna expect all of y'all to like get it as well. Although some of you obviously do have it, so kudos to you. But I'm gonna make this simple so where everybody in the room can do this tonight for the sake of the flow. Here, breaking down, and I'm looking to control this near side arm so that I can control the elbow. Okay, if I get his elbow, I can start inserting my hook. Okay, as soon as I can get this elbow flared, if I can get my foot across, now I can simply windshield wipe my back foot. I can chair sit, start coming to my hip, locking my triangle. There we go. All right. Did a few reps of that. Just that real quick. And then let's move on. All right. Any questions on that one? That seems simpler. Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3. Quick recap of this, of just a couple of key details. So you can combine this. All right. Let me rotate 90, please. 90. There we go. Perfect. Thank you. All right. So here, first off, again, when I break him down here, I don't want to pull out here 90 degrees, like perfectly on his side. He's way stronger with his base. He has a knee and an elbow that can come out and get base. Okay. When I pull at this line, though, the line like straight through his butt cheek, right? If I'm hip, trap, and I'm pulling at this line, he has way less resistance that he can offer. Okay. So just point there. You can also, when you're actually playing this, you can even drive into them a little bit to get a little bit, to make them stiff and strong so that it's that much easier to break them down. Okay. Because the less fluid he is, the more rigid he is in any particular moment, the easier it is for me to break him down, especially where he's already weak. Okay. So I can kind of start driving into him to get that reaction. Then I can pull, it's just like pulling a rock over. If he's like water, he's actually harder to pull over, right? Once I get him down, I'm just looking to get control of this top side arm so I can manipulate the elbow position. Because if he gets it in tight, I'm gonna have a hard time getting my foot in. He can just block me. Now he can turn into me. Yeah, he can start turning into me in that transition. Yeah, and now we're just scrambling where he's countering me, right? So we break him down. I want to be able to control this top side elbow. I want to be able, ideally, to get the figure of 4 here so I can control it. As I go to bring it up, see, I'm just elevating my elbow. It makes his elbow elevate. As I elevate it, I can also use this momentum to loop my hook around to his far hip. Okay, and then immediately look, I'm not staying up here. I'm crashing back down. I'm getting tight to him, keeping my head in. Next, windshield wipe, chair sit. As my head stays in, see my head is staying in close, not way up here. My head staying in tight, and then we're going to our far hip. Where I've been able to insert that triangle. If you can't insert the triangle, you can always rotate. If you can't get the body triangle for whatever reason, remember you have other options. You can always leg curl this across, and you can stomp on the hip and kind of extend here. So you have a little bit of a push-pull there. You can also leave underneath this leg, and you can lock your feet there. Okay. The whole goal is just to control the far hip. Diagonal control. We talk about that all the time. All right. Now from here, right, he's got a 2-on-1. Right, I've got my seatbelt. First thing we're going to do, point my fingers up. I'm going to rotate my hand underneath. And now I'm locking an S grip, and I'm going to
I'm going to make like a, I don't know the word. Somebody has a word for it. I'm taking this wrist in, I'm rolling this wrist forward, and I'm rolling this wrist up. Right? It's this motion. Somebody has a good word for that. I'm all ears. Okay. Here, as that grip breaks and I start to shuck, I'm looking to collect the end of the lever, right? And I can immediately start threatening that choke with my top arm. Okay. So again, go one. We're going to point, pommel, S grip's going to break, and I'm immediately coming up to threaten that choke. Okay. Next, he's pulling it, he's resisting. He wants to go that way. Let's go that way. So I'll sell this, and then I'll let him go that way. And I'll pass this hand off to the bottom hand on the way down. Okay. Now, he doesn't have a 2-on-1 anymore, which is the key detail here. Right? We were looking at this before class. When I'm here and I have a belt and he gets a defensive grip, he has 2 defensive hands on my choke arm. Okay. After the sequence, even if I pass this hand back here, he doesn't have a 2-on-1 anymore. It's much more difficult for him to recollect the 2-on-1. Right. So now I'm starting to fight 1v1, and I'm about to make it a 2v1. Okay. After I get my leg involved. After I'm here, this is his only real defensive grip right now, is to grip here. Okay. Which is a good grip, right? Because I'm kind of in a conundrum. Like my choke arm is occupied by his bottom arm. So it's not like I can threaten a choke, and he knows this. Okay. So he's relatively safe at the moment. But I can start either inserting a thumb pry that we've done before underneath the thumb and rolling the wrist up, or if there's daylight here underneath the meat of the pinky, I can insert there and I can roll my wrist down. Right? Sometimes he just has a death grip there and I can't get either. And in which case I can come under and I can start shucking I can start separating his hands from apart and getting his palm towards his belly button. See that? Do it again. Yeah. So here, if I can't get this, I can start coming underneath, grabbing the wrist. See how I got my pinky right here inside the wrist, and I could start pulling his bottom hand up with my left hand and pushing his top hand down with my right to strip that grip and get the added benefit of getting that palm towards his belly button. Now I'm within distance to start getting my foot involved, right? And I'm just looking to get my heel inside, and I can carve down, and I can either extend, I can hide my shoelaces behind the back. I can also cross my foot over, but if you're going to cross your feet here, do the bottom one on top. Okay, don't do it here because it creates more space for him to pommel his foot back inside or his hand back inside. If I cross here, it's much more difficult for him to re-pommel that hand back in. Okay. Now we have a 2-on-1. He only has 1 defensive hand, and I have 2 hands to play with. I can now pass this back to my underhook arm, and shoot my choke off. Make sense? Do it one more time. We'll just start here, right? Here, I've got my seat belt. He has 2-on-1. First thing we're going to do, point our fingers up, rotate the wrist underneath, S grip. I'm going to do what do we want to call this? The ka-chow?
That.
Okay. Ka-chow. All right. I'm starting to collect those knuckles as I ka-chow and now this hand is mine. Okay. Now I'm also shooting this choke up to threaten him. Okay. His only viable reaction is exactly what he's doing. Okay. Now from here, I'm going to sell this. He wants to pull. Eventually I'll let him pull me down, and I'll replace this hand with my top hand. Okay. Now he knows he's safe. We're kind of in a little bit of a stalemate with the grip fight now. Okay. I can't choke him, but he can't really go anywhere. Now I can look for that thumb pry or that pinky pry, right? But if he's got a death grip and I just can't do it, I should always be able to pommel my hand underneath, get my palm to his wrist with my pinky right here on the inside. And now I could pull my top arm and push my bottom arm to separate his hands from each other, and take his top arm to his belly button where I want to go. Now, at the same time, as I strip this grip, sorry, as I strip this grip, I'm also looking to find it with my heel and carve down. Okay. Now it's 2-on-1. I could pass this off to my bottom hand, and I could shoot my strangle arm up. Okay, and then we'll finish it there. Questions on that? Anybody need to see the sequence one more time? We're good.
Yeah, run it through full speed.
What's that?
Run it through just like half speed. Like,
Yeah.
Yep. Just all the way through.
Here. All right, so I've got a top side triangle. We're on the underhook side. Okay, important. We're on the underhook side here. He's got a 2-on-1. First thing I'm gonna do, I'm pointing up, S grip. I'm gonna separate with the chow. Here, I'm selling this. I'm selling it. I'm selling it. He's pulling. Here, I can come underneath. Now I can shut down and pull up to separate his hands and find that wrist with my heel. Carve down, feed, shoot up, locked it up. There it is. That's gonna be flow 7. The whole turtle breakdown to that grip sequence to the
Marcelo Garcia is kind of the one that popularized the one arm rear naked choke like that. So we call it Marcelo choke. But any questions? All right, let's run through that specifically. Go ahead and start at the bottom. Just run through the grip fight sequence. Get like 5-10 reps of those in. And then when open mat starts, we ran a little behind because I had several strokes. So okay, look, don't be 32.
Survive though. That's
Don't be
good.
32. I woke up this morning and I coughed, and I don't know how, but I really messed up my back. I coughed. I coughed one time, and I'm like, you know, and so like everything is pain right now. So I'm very distracted. Anyway, so I ran a little behind on account of my back, well, not my back strokes, my strokes on account of my back pain, and we didn't get to go over the other flows. So I'll still be here for another hour at 6:30. So if you want to go over any particular flows, you got me, you got Chad, you got Hudson. I know Nick and Brendan that know these pretty well. I think David's that knows enough of these pretty well. So like, there's plenty of people in the room that if you want a shot at $200 on Monday, just get with somebody and start drilling. All right, 1, 2, 3.